It's really important every time you move an aquarium to level it. So I've just measured that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner, and it is level. Now you do have to be aware though, particularly with older aquariums or older houses, when you do fill the aquarium up, it is possible it can move a little bit. So that's something that you just need to be aware of. And then just be aware that with older aquariums, apparently this one's actually not that old, but when an aquarium has settled in a certain position, then if you move it and the position is slightly different, then it is possible that the aquarium can leak. Usually that's the most risky time for an aquarium to leak. And the older the aquarium is, the more brittle the silicon tends to be, and the more likely it's going to leak. So if you have an aquarium over sort of 15 years old and you're moving it, you might want to take that opportunity to think about replacing the aquarium, because these sorts of aquariums only cost a couple of $100 and they definitely don't last forever. Something that I'm always worried about whenever moving aquariums with fine sand like this is hydrogen sulfide. In this case, I'm not actually that worried about it because the layer of gravel isn't really that thick and the cover of plants was relatively good. And I've stirred all this sand up a lot and I haven't seen any sign or smelt any likely hydrogen sulfide release. So if I was worried about it, I would make sure that polyfilter goes in the filter. But in this case, I'm not terribly concerned about it. But polyfilter is a great product and it never hurts just to add it anyway, just to be safe. And that will stop any possible leach of hydrogen sulfide when you're disturbing fine sand. We've transported most of the water to the new location. I can now start putting in the decorations. Then I can put in the fish, get the filters going, and then top up the aquarium. Now what I'm going to request with these ornaments is we leave them outside in the sun for a day or so, then turn them round, leave them in the sun for a day or so, then hit them with a hose, and you'll be surprised how well any ornaments will clean up when bleached in the sun for a couple of days. It really gives your ornaments some more life. And then any of your fake plants, fake ornaments and so forth, this is a great way of cleaning them up. Plus any rocks, you can do it with anything like that. And then eventually they do start looking tired and they are worth replacing every now and then. I think it's very important that every single aquarium has a thermometer in it. Now this one's got a heater in it, and the heater can very competently keep the water at 25 to 28 degrees. But the thing is, a heater has a thermostat in it, but I always want to have a thermometer as well, because I always want to cross-reference my temperature. So I would heavily recommend that every single aquarium have a thermometer as well as a heater. The pH of this water is 0, so I'm going to add a little bit of aquarium salt. Because there's a lot of plants in this aquarium, we definitely do not want to overdo the aquarium salt, but we also don't want to have a GH level of 0. GH is going to drastically improve the immune system of the fish, but at the same time, we don't want to raise it above, say, 6 or 8. Otherwise, we can reduce the growth of the plants. pH level of this water is 0, which is something that I do worry about. So I'm just going to add a little bit of KH powder. Now, what I don't want to do is go crazy with the KH powder and add too much. I'd much rather add just a little bit and then come back and add a little bit than to add it too quickly and shock the fish. So I'm highly going to encourage that KH becomes a concern, and I'm going to recommend that this is tested on a fairly regular basis, and KH powder is added as required to make sure your KH level is sort of 2 to 4 in this aquarium. Currently 0, which is a problem to me because it can hamper biological processes, it can stop buffering capacity, and it's definitely not good for your plants or any of your biological processes. It's a very cold winter day here in Sydney. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of warm. I just want to make sure that I knock the cold out of this tap, because what we don't want to do is go giving the fish a cold flush. But at the same time, the worst thing you can do is do it the other way around. You definitely don't want to add too much warm. You want to just knock the cold off it. And using a thermometer is your best bet. We're going to add some water ager. Anytime that we're using new water, we're going to use water ager to take the chlorines and stuff out of the water. And it's very important you add water ager once your bucket is full. You cannot add water ager then fill your bucket. That does not work. I'm going to do a quick review of the fish stuff on hand. We've got some water ager. We've got another water ager. We've got some Danichi pellet food, which is about the best food you can get. We've got some Spectrum flake. I'm not a fan of flake, but if you are going to buy flake, this is the one that I like. We've got an empty box, probably chuck that out. We've got a auto feeder, which is a great thing to have for when you go away. These JBL ones are really good. We've got some fertilizer tablets, probably worth putting them in there. The JBL ones are really good. And then we've got some wafer. A little bit of that every now and then is okay. I'm not a huge fan of the heavily processed foods, but nothing wrong with this. Other than that, we've just got a pH test. I'd highly recommend getting a GH and KH as well. It's important at any time you're playing around with your pumps or filters to pull the impeller out, give the impeller a good clean. This one was actually pretty dirty, and clean out that housing so the impeller can spin properly and work properly. Now, visibility is slowly getting better. I've started burying some of these fertilizer balls. They'll slowly release iron into the water. At this stage, all the fish are looking very happy and fine. Only that I can't see a lot. Visibility is very bad, which is very normal for a situation like this. Because I've literally just pulled the whole tank apart, I've disrupted all the nutrients. The tank going cloudy like this is very normal, but it is clearing up very quickly. So as it clears up, the tank will definitely need decorating, because the decoration, I've got a very limited ability to decorate while I really can't see. But it is quickly improving. This aquarium is moved. A couple of things to be aware of. I probably wouldn't feed for the next couple of days. Just let them scavenge. I would want to be keeping an eye on ammonia nitrite after the move. I would definitely be wanting to keep an eye on GH and KH, considering those levels were actually 0 when I tested them. And there are products like Vogel that's not a bad idea to add. Vogel is an artificial immune booster, which is always beneficial in a situation like this. And also thinking about using Spectrum's probiotic food. These fish are already fed on Danichi, so they're already fed on very good quality food, and the health of these fish look very good. But adding a bit of probiotics is never a bad idea. The Spectrum probiotics has got the probiotic bacteria in it, which means when the fish poo, the bacteria in the poo eats the poo. So the main thing that's left undone at the moment is the tank really needs decorating, because I really can't see in there very well at the moment. So it's going to need redecorating is the main thing that's going to be required. And just be really keeping an eye on the fish, because after a move like this, especially on a cold winter's day like this, we really don't want the fish to end up getting white spot. So white spot is a parasitic disease that makes it look like little white spots on the fish. It's like them getting a cold. So definitely look out for that. But other than that, everything should be good, and I would be getting a thermometer ASAP, because it makes me very nervous when I don't actually know the temperature of the water. It feels fine, but I'm definitely not a human thermometer. So everyone's looking happy. Now we're just waiting for it all to clear up. And we have to slowly plant and decorate the tank until it looks good again.